Go ahead and start recording. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining us today for our November ABC provider call. I can't believe that it is already November and we're only a week away basically from Thanksgiving. It seems like this month has flown by. I'm sure you're all extremely busy. I know this time of year is like just the Olympics of early childhood. It is all of your screenings and your kiddos are starting services and the holidays and all of the things. So we don't have a whole lot of updates today. We really just want to go over most things that you probably already know, but we are going to talk about just a couple reminders, and then we are going to have some time for questions at the end. As always, please feel free to put any questions you have in the chat box. And my coworker, Bridgetta Mitchell, is also here, and she'll be answering questions as well as some of the other ABC team members. Um, so anytime you have questions, just pop them in the chat and we will take them as we go. Okay. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about some financial guidelines. We are going to talk about enrollment policies. We're going to talk a little bit about billing and CCDF. So that is going to be for those of you who take other types of funding besides ABC. So we're going to talk about school readiness assistance. We're going to talk a little bit about some professional development resources, behavior help, and then, like I said, at the end, we will have time for questions if there's anything that you would like to have addressed today. So I'm just going to briefly post this little slide. It's got all of our contact information so that if you need anything, you can feel free to reach out to any of the team. And again, all of these slides will be available on our website, and I'm going to put my contact information in the chat box, and my team will also be putting their contact information in the chat box so that you can just easily copy and paste if you need that. Okay, so we are going to talk about some financial guidelines. We do have the full guide on our website. I have it linked here. I'm gonna also see if I can post the link directly into the chat for you all. Um, we just wanted to go over a couple of reminders. So something that'll be coming up in January, January 31st, will be your mid-year expenditure report. So just make sure that you're kind of thinking about that. I know we still have some time before we really get to that point till January, but it'll be here before we know it. And the mid-year expenditure reports should include your ABC and match expenses from July 1 through December 31st. And we'd really like to see a 40 to 50% expenditure range during that mid-year. So that's really just to ensure that those funds are going to be expended by the end of the program year. And then one thing that we need to make sure that all of our programs are aware of is that ABC programs are not permitted to carry any funds over. So any programs that are required to submit to e-finance, so that's going to be our LEA programs, school districts, your balance in e-finance should be zero at the end of the program year. We are working with our finance team and developers to put some flags and some other things in e-finance to help your bookkeepers, whoever does your finances in e-finance, to help make sure that there's a flag and some kind of safeguards so that you are zeroing out those balances. But any program that does have an ending balance, you're required to pay that money back to the Office of Early Childhood. And we want you to use all of your funds. So again, these funds should be obligated by June 30th and liquidated by July 31st of each year. So make sure that you're not carrying over funds. I think that this is something over the last several years that probably just hasn't really been talked about. And now we have Bridgetta. She takes care now of all of the financial side of things for ABC. And so if you have questions, you can reach out to her. Again, we're working with our finance team to learn the ins and outs, but that's just something that we need to make sure everyone is aware of. And then we also have a final disclosure audit. So this is something that changed last year. We did talk about this, and it's being processed in the new rules. But if you're a non-LEA agency, which means if you're a private company, you're not in a school district or a co-op, you'll need a final disclosure audit if you are awarded more than $750,000 in grants. Previously, that threshold was $100,000. So it has raised to 750. We hope that that will cut down on how many of you are having to do those final disclosure audits, because I know they can be pretty expensive. So if you're awarded less than 750,000, we may ask you to submit financial reports annually as part of an audit or other things like that. But this is specifically that final disclosure audit that's done by like a CPA. So I'm going to stop there because we went over a couple of really big pieces of our finance guidelines and just see if we have any questions in the chat box. And I see Bridgetta did put her contact information, which is great. So like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out and we're here to help. I don't see any questions so far. Give it just a minute. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next section, but if you have questions, put them in the chat and we will make sure we circle back to that. Okay, so the next area that we want to discuss is enrollment. So now that we are getting into November, the ABC team is looking at enrollment, and we are going to start sending out letters. So if you're less than 100% enrolled, you may get a letter telling you what your enrollment is, what that percentage looks like. And so we just want you to be aware. So if you get a letter from us, it's going to tell you if there's any steps that you need to take, or if it's just, hey, you're not at full enrollment, here's what you need to do. So please just take this time, make sure that you are entering all of your children and families. If you have some that you have not already put into COPA, get those done as quickly as possible. If you have any questions or you need assistance putting any children into COPA, if you're having any issues with enrolling, please reach out to us at the COPA support.mail account email address. We definitely want to help and make sure that everyone is not experiencing any problems in COPA. I know sometimes that can be an issue. And so we want to make sure we get those taken care of timely as well. So again, we're looking at enrollment. We've started to pull that information from October. We will do that again in November, in December for November. So make sure that you are really focusing on your enrollment. Any questions about that? Okay. Okay, so we are also going to talk about ABC and CCDF and what that billing looks like. So if you receive school readiness assistance funding, and you're an ABC program, this information is for you. If you are only an ABC program, you don't receive any other funding, you can disregard this. We just need to remind programs that if you receive both ABC and CCDF, also known as SRA, School Readiness Assistance, formerly known as vouchers, funding you should ensure that billing is conducted on a one-time basis per child. So if children receive ABC funds, you cannot bill that same child as full-time through SRA. The only exception would be for part-time. So if you have a child that is attending your program full-time in ABC and they do aftercare with you or before your day starts for ABC, those children can be billed for part-time, but you cannot bill full-time SRA and an ABC child. So that would be double billing and you cannot do that. Um, we are working with our SRA team to double check and make sure that there are no children that are being billed in the same category. So just double check your rosters in ABC, make sure you're not double billing. And if you have questions, if you're not sure, if you have a situation with a family or a child that is receiving SRA and you're not really sure if you need to bill for them part-time or full-time and they're an ABC child, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Bridgetta as well. She has a lot of knowledge on school readiness assistance. That's where she was formerly before she came to ABC. And so we're happy to help and take a look and make sure that we get that correct for you. Paula, I see your question about ABC slots. Yes, so definitely reach out to your local leads if you're interested in ABC slots for the next school year. You'll need to make sure that they have your information available and on what's called the coordinated funding request. So make sure your local lead is aware of your need for slots in your area at your location. As of right now, we don't have any slots available. We don't know if there will be any change in that quite yet until we get closer to the school year. Lori, good question. Yes, so SRA and federal pre-K are two different things. They're both funded under CCDF, but those are two different things, yes. Any other questions about these two types of fundings? Okay, we will go on to the next slide. So I want to talk a little bit about behavior help as well. Most of you are probably aware, but for anyone that is not, we have behavior help here at OEC, and it is a system to assist programs with behavioral challenges with young children. So you can submit a request for behavior help support online. We have a referral system, and I am going to make sure that I link the website here in the chat box. It's also linked on these slides that'll be on our website. But you can submit a request. And so there's also an email you can reach out to, but when you submit that request, you'll be contacted and there's an interview process with the behavior help team. And you will receive technical assistance. So it may be through a mental health consultant from Behavior Health. It could be a caseworker. It depends on what kind of assistance that you're needing, but it's great if you're needing to get some support. They can help with room arrangement, care plans, a lot of different things that they can do. They have Project Play, and so I know that there are several different avenues that they can take to help. We are a part of those discussions. And so anytime there's support needed, we will try to help work with them and just kind of make sure that we're giving you the resources that you need. And so in conjunction with that, we don't allow dismissal of ABC children. We've talked about that before. And so we really just want to make sure that everyone has the support. And the other thing is that I just wanted to briefly mention, we've had some questions about toilet training. And so we just want to make sure that everyone's aware, you cannot dismiss a child for toilet training, for lack of toilet training, and you cannot deny a child a spot in ABC for lack of toilet training. So just make sure that we're aware of that. Behavior help can also help if you have questions about maybe an IEP with a child. And if you're not sure maybe how to navigate that and behavior help, we do have some people on our team that work in special education. If you were here last month, we had Danita Pitts on, and she talked a lot about resources for special education. So if you ever have questions, please reach out to us. We want to help. We definitely know every single situation is different. So there is, there's safety concerns, right? There's all of the different things that can come with behaviors. And so we're here to help. So reach out to us, make a referral to behavior help. That is what the team is there for. Um, so Maribel, if you have a specific situation, you definitely can reach out to behavior help and see if there's any service that they can provide. If the parents are refusing any type of service, then that would be a conversation that we would need to have about if they're willing to be a part of the program or not. So feel free to reach out to us so that we can kind of dive deep. I don't want you to put any information out here publicly, but we can look at each different situation and address. Can you send a child home early for hard behaviors? So I'm going to tell you to refer to your policy. Everyone should have a behavior policy in your handbook. If you are sending a child home briefly, we ask that you let us know so that we're aware of what's happening. And then we ask that you have a plan in place for what you're going to do going forward. So there's lots of caveats to that as well. So we don't want that to become a habit, but not only do we not want it to become a habit, we need to make sure that child doesn't have an IEP or other things that you need to take in consideration before sending a child home early or modifying any type of schedule or anything. And always reach out to us. So if you've got something going on and, any type of situation, reach out. You can call me, you can call Bridgetta, you can call Michelle. Michelle's not here today, but you can reach out to us and we can kind of work through what maybe options there are. Tina, they came to your programs and never observed the child. So I know typically depending on what type of which side of behavior help the referral is for. Sometimes they are there to assist the teachers in the program and they're not really there to do anything specifically with the child, but they usually observe that classroom where the child would be. So Tina, will you send me an email and just kind of let me know, just send me some more information directly and give me like some things like the child's name and your program. If you will, just please email me and I will reach out to our behavior help team and make sure that we get you some support. And there's two different components. So one is more for the program side, and then there are some other things for the child. There's lots of different parts of behavior help. There's lots of support for the parents as well. So they try to help the families with referrals and anything that they may need. Yep. And we've got some other resources too with our special education department. We have some mental health resources. So if you will just reach out, send me an email or give me a call and we can discuss individual situations. Every single time it's going to be different, right? So you're not, I can't give you a one size fits all answer because every situation is going to be different and every program is going to be different. Okay, so I wanted to also talk about um, communication and professional development resources. Katrina, yes. So Project Play is more geared towards the specific child and family. And then we have another portion that's more for the classroom. So we may need to see if Project Play is something that would be beneficial. So great point. Okay, So we know that the Office of Early Childhood has a monthly provider call the first Tuesday of every month. So just kind of a reminder that this is going to be for all types of important information, nutrition, school readiness assistance, better beginnings, anything upcoming. So I highly recommend that you get on those calls, and you can find all the recorded past meetings on the website as well. But just a reminder, so Arkansas State University Childhood Services has a newsletter. Um, I would like to encourage you all to subscribe to that newsletter. They do send out professional development resources. So upcoming trainings, whether that be OUNCE, work sampling, conscious discipline, I mean, just a very in-depth newsletter with lots of upcoming trainings. So I know that some of you may be looking at some professional development, and that is a great place to start. We also have the Buzz newsletter from Better Beginnings. You can subscribe to their newsletter as well, and that will have some additional resources for programs. Um, and then we're going to take some questions, and I'm going to look in the chat box. So, do we need to wait on record before enrolling a child who has an emergency foster care placement? So Jasmine, typically you will get some documentation, and if I am not mistaken, it's called a medical passport. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's called a medical passport. That is typically what is going to come. Basically, the only thing that you probably will have that the foster care placement is going to have. They usually get that pretty quickly. So you can use that document to go ahead and enroll the child and start the process with all the information that you do have. And if you have any questions or you need any help, just reach out and we can walk you through that as well. And just talking about foster care placements, if you have 20 children in a room and you have a family that is taking on a child that's in the foster care system, you can go to 21 for a brief period of time. We just have a waiver for you to fill out. And one of the documents that you would need would be that medical passport, or you can get documentation from the DHS caseworker as well. So just something kind of in a pinch that you can have that shows that that child is currently in foster care.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions? Anything anyone can think of? You can drop them in the chat box. Anything exciting happening at anyone's program that you want to shout out or just brag about with your programs? We'd love to hear happy things that are happening out in the field. Anything exciting? Comments, concerns? Okay, move on. I'm going to move on to the next slide. And again, if you have anything that you want to discuss, put it in the chat box before we get off today. So we meet every third Tuesday of the month. And I try to send out the link the day before, at least so you have it, and put it on COPA and all of those things. Our next call will be December 16th. It is the same Zoom link at the same time at 12 o'clock. And again, our COPA support mail account email address is the best place to reach out, get a fast answer back from our team. We all work out of that inbox. And then we have our topic survey, so please feel free to scan the QR code, or you can click the link once we post the slides on our website, and tell us what you want us to talk about on the monthly call. Tell us if there's a topic that you would like to hear us discuss. Jenny, new to the federal funding side, what's the difference between federal funding and SRA? So I see Bridgetta ask what program you're with. Federal funding and SRA are kind of one and the same. So it is a form of federal funding, school readiness assistances, but there is a lot under that umbrella. So you've got CCDF, which is a big umbrella, and then underneath it, you have several different things. So we have some federal pre-K, we have some infant toddler, and then we have the largest group, which is school readiness assistance, which a lot of people know that as vouchers. That's what it used to be called. And so that is like a low income voucher that parents can use to attend your program. If you will reach out to Bridgetta or myself, you can email us or call us and um, we can help you. Yeah, if you're wanting to accept CCDF, you can become a provider to accept that. And with ABC, you can reach out to your local lead as well. But definitely email us and we can get you some more information and send you the link to where you can go online and read about school readiness assistance and what all it takes to become a provider in that program. It's a little different than ABC. So for those of you that don't know, school readiness assistance, the families apply directly to OEC for those funds. So that's processed and the family is given that funding and they can take it to a provider that they choose versus ABC, which is state funded. And those are dedicated slots that are given out to programs. And then the program is deciding eligibility based on the criteria, but it's done at the program level. So it's processed very differently in two different types of funds. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, that is all we have for today. So pretty short and sweet. Again, we would love to hear from you, topics that you want to hear for next month for December. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us anytime. We are here to help. And other than that, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and I hope that you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your families. Thank you for everything that you do for children in Arkansas. Have a great afternoon.